Mike Goering back with you again today to talk about money, the language of money. Everybody likes money, right? You like money, I like money, we all like to get paid money, we don't like to spend money. But you've heard people say things about people coming into the United States. For those of you that are listening from other countries, if they come here, they should at least learn the language. I'm not even going to go there. People say that all the time. And here's the funny thing about it. They use money and they don't understand the language of money. Now, I told you about it in the last video. Language has an alphabet. And money has an alphabet. It's a base 10 numeric system is the alphabet that we use for calculating money. And it has constructs, it has formulas, it has information systems, and this is where we separate the men from the boys. I'm going to do this video. I'm not going to get real technical into stuff. I'm going to have to use some terms, some jargon, some money speech, but I'm going to try to keep it as tech free, as jargon free as possible. But if you don't understand any of these definitions, hopefully you have internet access because you're watching this video. Look them up, get to know them, understand them, and absorb them into your being, into your consciousness, into your perception, into your philosophy, into your system of thought, so that you can use them on a daily basis, so you grasp and comprehend the power of knowing them, the power to we talked about power and not knowing what power is. Information isn't power, but the use of that information is power. And that's what I want to give you in this video. That's what I want you to get out of this video. That's what we're here for. So we're going to talk about money. You're bad at math. Okay, just admit it. You're bad at math, all right? Some of you have no problem with, I've always been bad at math. Well, that's no excuse to continue to be bad at math, okay? You're bad at math because you make decisions based on flawed thinking. Then flawed thinking, there's a saying, you never really understand something until you can explain it mathematically. And especially for guys like me who are ideas guys, we're free thinkers, we like the free flow of thought, we're imaginative, we're creative, we can make anything sound good. It's a great business, it's a great concept, we're going to make lots of money. And then you put it on paper and you do the math, and the return is not better than inflation, and it sucks. All right, but you can make anything sound good. But when you put it on paper and you crunch the numbers and you do the math and you figure it out and you understand the nitty-gritty of it, maybe it's not as good of an idea as you thought. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about return on investment is the first thing that you need to understand. We talked about money in an earlier video. We talked about value. We talked about talked about a bunch of stuff, but we talked about the purpose of money. The first purpose of money is saving, but in a currency that holds value. Second thing is investing, and this is where we get into the nitty-gritty of investing in this video. And investing, we make investments all the time. I told you the first thing you need to invest in is clothes, because we don't live in a nudist colony. When you invest in clothes, you need to understand that different clothes have different value. They're going to last different amounts of time based on the quality, the intrinsic value of the article. And if you invest in things that have higher intrinsic, higher real value, instead of the fashionable value or the perceived value, then you'll have quality garments that will last you a good long time. But ROI. Well, first of all, I want you to understand you're always going to have money problems. Everybody has money problems. And you get your choice. You can have one of two kinds of money problems. Your choice. Choose one. You're either going to have not enough money or you're going to have too much money. Now, if you have a choice, most people are going to pick too much money. But the reality is that most of us have not enough money. Why is that? Because we don't understand how to have too much money. I want you to understand how to have too much money. Okay? I want everybody to have that money problem and all the problems that come with having too much money. Like, where are we going to find people to give to? I don't have time to sit down and give to all these people because I have too much money. So when I first got into business and I first started looking at businesses and I got some business failures under my belt, anybody who's been in business long enough to have business failures, they're probably the kind of person you want to be in business with because they've been through some crap and they can avoid it. If you get into business with somebody, make sure that they've failed a few times. You want somebody who's been there, done that, got the t-shirt on the failure side. Then after a while, I was like, it'd be really nice if I learned how to compare investments. I got into this for an entirely different reason than most people. I used to play this game called Capitalism, Capitalism 2. It's the most true-to-life economy game on the market. They use it at universities to teach people how an economy works. And I got into playing this game and I kept getting squashed. And I'm good at stuff. I don't like getting squashed. So I bought this whole book on corporate financial statement analysis to help me with this. And I got a good thorough understanding of what to look for, what it means, what the numbers mean, what a cash flow statement and a balance statement and the nitty-gritty of corporate financial analysis was so that I could beat this game. It turns out it helps me a whole lot in real life too. I now calculate the ROI on a $20 toaster oven. My wife will tell you I overthink everything. I think about things totally different than most people do, and part of that is because I have this experience that gives me the tools to think things through at a higher level than most people think things through at. So you're always going to have either too much money or not enough money. I want you to have too much money, and to do that you need to be able to calculate ROI and you need to be able to compare investments. You need to understand the difference between consistent money, because everybody needs consistent money. If you don't have food today, you can't work tomorrow. And the difference between that and windfalls. Okay, everybody wants a windfall. They want to win the lottery. They want an inheritance. They want a big chunk of money all at once. If I could just get that. Most of the people that get windfalls because they don't know how to have money. They don't have it very long. Okay, there's a book out about all the people that have won a particular lottery. I don't remember it now, but it talks about how they were before they won the lottery, how they were while they had the lottery money, and how they eventually went back to that plane of not having enough money because they never learned how to have money. All right? If you don't have money, chances are you don't know how to have money. All right? And I know this seems simple. Some of this stuff isn't shiny, okay? But it's true. All right? If you don't have money, chances are you don't know how to have money. Chances are very good you don't know how to have money. I want to teach you how to have money, how to always have money, how to have consistent money, how to have your money work for you, and how to get money in the future, whether it's by windfall or by a little bit at a time. So the first thing you need to understand is how to calculate your return on investment. Return on investment is one of the most fundamental concepts of having money. Okay? Once you understand value and once you understand that money is worthless, then you need to understand how to calculate your return on an investment. All right? There's a hole in everybody's bucket called inflation. All right, it's generally around 3.5%. They try to keep it around there by screwing with the money supply and all kinds of stuff. But the fact of the matter is that if you're not making more than 3% on every dollar you hold, then you're losing money. Okay, because of that, you need to put your money to work for you in places where you can earn more than 3.5%, which is generally not a bank. And you need to do that in a way that gives you the most return on investment for your opportunity cost. And that's where calculating the return on investment comes in. Return on investment is not a complicated formula. Anybody with simple money sense can understand it. Return on investment is the gain from your investment minus the cost from your investment, okay, divided by the cost of the investment, okay? So you've got the gain on the investment minus the cost of the investment divided by the cost of the investment. So if you invest $100, okay, and you plan on making $150, okay, then your cost of investment is $100. Your gain on investment is $150. So 150 minus $100 is $50 divided by the cost of the investment, which is $100. So your return on investment is 50%. Okay, that's a very simple calculation. When I told you I calculated the return on investment of a $20 toaster oven. I had the ability to buy food that I could put in a toaster oven versus paying for food from a retail outlet, a restaurant, and I had a specific amount of volume of food, money, and quantity of food that I had already invested in, and I really didn't want to eat it because I didn't want to heat it up in a microwave. So I calculated the ROI of eating that food versus eating out, and realized that buying a toaster oven is a very good investment, and you can do that with anything. And you need to be able to do that so that you can compare to investments. If the bank tells you if you put $100 in the bank, they'll give you 1%, that's $1, all right? $1 a year-ish, okay? A little over $1 a year, it's like $1.12 because of compounding. You've got that versus investing in tax lien certificates in Texas, let's say, that pay about 10%, and that may not be right, don't quote me on that. You got 1% versus 10%, well, the difference is 9%. Well, then you've got, the opportunity cost. And this is one thing that most people don't factor into return on investment is opportunity cost. The value of a return on investment has more to do with the cost of not pursuing another investment than it does in just pursuing that investment. If you only have one opportunity, you don't have to worry about opportunity cost because you only have one opportunity. But in a market where we're competing against everyone for everything, where everybody is going after the same dollar bills, and there's not enough, all right? And I don't want to get you thinking that we live in a closed system. We don't live in a closed system. We don't have enough people creating value, all right? So when you're competing with everybody for everything, then you need to understand that you have more places than just one to put your money, and you have to be able to calculate the opportunity cost into that, so you can figure out, if I do this versus doing that, then I'm going to make this, and I'll have these other things because of the opportunity cost. So you're always going to have money problems. Over time again, you need to be able to calculate your ROI. It's a very simple formula. You need to be able to compare investments, consistent money versus windfalls. One of the things that most people don't realize, and this is a terrible time to get a phone call, but I'm gonna finish up with this. It's very distracting. You need to have consistent money. You need to have consistent money so that you can eat. You need to have consistent money so that you can live. You need to have consistent money so that you can keep your word and pay your bills. If you don't have consistent money, then you're relying entirely on windfalls, and windfalls don't always work out. And the reason that that's so important is because if you're going from windfall to windfall, you have to calculate into that the fact that only about a third of your opportunities are going to succeed anyway. Okay? So you need to have enough irons in the fire that you can go from windfall to windfall without going broke. Consistent money is huge. You have to have consistent money. That's why you have to invest. If you don't have consistent money coming from your investments, then you need to have consistent money coming from your work. If you don't have consistent money coming from your work, then you can't invest. Okay? You can't invest in things that bring windfalls. It's like a farmer. If a farmer doesn't have food to eat, then he doesn't have seed to sow. He needs to take the seed that he has to sow and turn it into food so that he can eat and go get a job. Okay? Because if he sows his seed, then he's going to starve to death before his next windfall. And that's my point. You've got to have consistent money. All right, and that's part of having money, knowing how to have money. If you realize that there's a huge hole in your bucket, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're basically a worthless bucket, okay? And money always follows the path of least resistance. It'll leave as fast as it comes in if you let it. You got to learn how to not let it. You got to create some resistance for the flow of money through your hands so that you have money to invest. And that's a huge concept. I hope you got a lot out of this video. I tried not to get too technical, and and I hope you got the points that I was trying to make. I hope it makes you a lot of money, and I'll see you in the next video where we're going to talk about mitigating risk. You don't know how to mitigate risk, and that's why everything's an emergency. That's why you're always putting out fires, and that's why it leads to having a crappy life if you're always putting out fires. So mitigating the risk, we're going to talk about that in the next video, and I'll see you then.